Hey guys, Mark McMahon Real Estate coming at you not live today. Today I want to talk about common rental repairs that happen to everybody that owns rentals. Guys, you got to be ready for this crap because it's going to hit. So anyway, if that's interesting to you, beat the crap out of that like button, subscribe to our channel. Let's get right to it. All right, guys, the number one problem you're going to have is people flushing stuff down the toilet doesn't belong there, or other kinds of plumbing problems. What will that entail? It will entail a mess sometimes, a sewage overflow. It can be a broken pipe. It can be so many things. Plumbing problems always seem to be the thing that requires the quickest attention. In other words, you got to get somebody out there right away. You can tell your tenant, yeah, go to the water valve and shut it off, and we'll get somebody out in 2 days. But guys, you can't expect your tenants to live without water for 2 days. How do we handle that, though? Now, what if they did flush a Barbie doll down the toilet, right? Yeah, seen it. We charge them. Okay, we go out there, I have my plumber go out and take pictures of whatever comes out. If it doesn't get pushed through, a lot of times the snake will pull it out, and if it's a hair clog, they get charged. We charge for pretty much any kind of clog, unless it's tree roots or something else, or the pipe is disintegrating or whatever. So you gotta be really careful with plumbing issues. You gotta stay on top of plumbing. I like to do a yearly inspection of plumbing and smoke detectors and CO2 and all those things just for safety's sake. Here's why we do it, guys. Here's why we do it. It saves money in the long run. If we see a problem, if we see something just dripping, that's going to turn to something else. It's going to turn into a bigger problem, right? So if we catch it, we can fix it. Plumbing is going to be your biggest issue. Number two would be HVAC, air conditioning, heating, those types of things. Now, you in the Midwest know this and love this, right? You guys are replacing air conditioners like you're changing your underwear. We don't have to do it so much out here on the West Coast, but we do have to do it, and it is a major hit. So maintain that, guys. Do not let it go a year without changing filters and having someone go out and look at every single unit every single year. You're looking at a replacement of $5,000 to $7,000 to $8,000 for an AC unit. Now, if you got to replace all the components. A lot of times, simple maintenance will avoid that problem or help you avoid that problem. So make sure that you maintain that AC. You should be able to get 10 years plus out of a unit if you take good care of it. Okay, that's number two, AC, HVAC. Number three is roofs. Roofs can be a big problem because you know the old story about, what goes downhill. With rain, it's the same thing. It's going to affect every single thing in the house. If you have a leak on the second floor, it's going to get to the first floor. It's going to go to the basement eventually, and there's going to be all kinds of problems that are caused by that. But water intrusion is real, guys. It can happen anywhere. Wind-driven rain can push it through windows. It can push it through roofs. It can go up underneath the shingles. If your house is not high, dry, and tight, it needs to be. Spend the extra time waterproofing everything that you can so that you don't have those issues. If you've got an older roof, it can be maintained. It can be inspected. You can replace shingles that blow off. You can maintain it as best you can until you can afford to replace it. But a good roof with 40-year shingles is the best way to go. I like to use dimensional composition shingles on my houses. They tend to last forever. They're going to last longer than I'm going to last at this point. So if I put a new roof on one of my units right now, I will never do it again. You need to make sure and go up there, have someone go up every year, check for caulking, cracking, whatever, and make sure that it's done, and have them do a ceiling inspection. Go up in the attic and look at the rafters and look at water stains. Take a note of it, take pictures of it, and if it looks different than next year, you've got an issue. All right, so roofs, big one, number three. All right, the number four item that scares me the most is mold. Guys, mold is the gift that keeps on giving. It will come back over and over and over if you don't eradicate it correctly the first time, and people will sue you for that. It's real, guys, so make sure that you mitigate that as much as possible. How do you do that? Well, we just talked about the two main culprits of that. Condensation lines that get clogged up on your AC overflow the pan. The other thing that's going to cause the issues is obviously, number one thing is plumbing is going to cause mold issues. That drip, drip, drip underneath the sink, the water goes through the drywall, through the wood, and mold grows on the other side. You might not see it, but it's there. You got to be really careful. Liability issues abound with mold problems. You need to avoid it. So how do you do that? Everything I've talked about so far, guys, maintenance, maintenance, maintenance. Every 6 months to 12 months, do an inspection. The best way to do that, guys, the best way to get inspections inside of someone's house 2 to 3 times a year is just say, I am required to put it in your contract, put it in your rental contract. I require access to your house 3 times a year to check the batteries and your smoke alarms and your CO2. Absolutely have to do it. We will give you a day's notice or whatever is required in your state. And guys, that gives you all the chances you need to do an inspection of the house. You can even say, I'm going to inspect the plumbing also. The one that costs the most money on common rental repairs, number 5, is rent readies. Now, rent readies simply are what you have to do when somebody moves out of the house and you got to get it back into shape. So it can be as simple as cleaning the carpets and touching up the paint. Depends on the tenant. It can include replacing doors that get kicked in because someone gets pissed off. It can include replacing vanities because of that little drip that you had. Something that would have cost $40 to fix can turn into $500 or $600. Kitchen cabinets, appliances that get wasted because people cook on them and never clean them and it's crusty. Ceiling fans that break, light fixtures that are broken, windows and screens, and on and on and on. Flooring's a big one. This is something that you have to really stay on top of. And another way to stay on top of it is what we talked about just a minute ago when we talked about doing those twice a year inspections. You can catch those problems and charge people for it then. Hey, look, you've got a torn screen here. I'm going to send somebody out to fix it or inspect it. Either you get it fixed or we will fix it, but you have 7 days to do it. And if we do it, we will charge you for it. Someone's going to come out and inspect in 7 days. You have to charge people there and then. And that's another thing too. If there's repairs that need to be done that they did, much easier to get them to pay for it during the rental period than with your deposit, your security deposit. Your security deposit these days with the cost of construction is not going to cover all the repairs every time. If you can keep your eyeballs on stuff, you will not have as many problems. This comes from 13 years of 12 years of landlording. And if I don't know everything that can happen between now and then, we've had houses burned down, we've had trees crush houses, cars, we've had fences blown down, roofs blown off. We've had everything happen that can happen. Freeze, thaw, expansion, contraction, COVID, the gamut, guys. Trust me on this, it's a lot going on out there. But if you stay on top of it, if you manage your units well, you won't have an issue. Well, I take that back. You'll still have issues. You'll just have this many compared to this many. To wrap it all up, guys, keep an eye on your investments. Guys, this is something you worked your butt off all your life for. Keep an eye on it. Guys, if you enjoyed that, please hit the like button. It really gets more people engaged with us. It'll send more people here so that I can share what I've got to share with more people. Subscribe to the channel. This show is brought to you by Wholesaling Academy, guys. There's a link down below. If you want to get started finding houses, getting involved in all things real estate investing, you've got to learn how to find houses. So go down below, click the link, see what we've got to offer. We teach you how to get houses. Thanks a bunch, guys. I'll see you next time. Hey guys, check out these 2 videos. They're really going to help you on your investment journey. I'm also on Instagram. Tons of great video content there. Really good stuff. Please subscribe. I'll see you next time.